All right. Hello. Happy Tuesday, first Tuesday of February 2nd, 2021. Welcome to Crimecast, Wichita's Police Department's efforts to bring up-to-date real-time crime information, hotspots, statistics to the citizens of Wichita and surrounding areas. Charlie Davidson, our public information officer, one of our public information officers, is with me as well today again.
Hey, good morning. Welcome everybody to Crimecast. You looked at your watch for the date, not that it was Tuesday, right? Since we always do it on Tuesday.
I had to look see what day of the week it was too.
Since we do it every Tuesday, that's okay. That's all right. Appreciate everyone being here with us today on this Crimecast. Again, go Chiefs, right? Coming up, less than a week.
Coming up, I was already having withdrawals last weekend without any football on TV. So,
yeah, there wasn't any Pro Bowl, was there? Was there a Pro Bowl?
That's a good question.
I don't think there was.
Did they? I mean, I think they've moved that to where it's after the Super Bowl now.
Oh, did they?
They used to always schedule it before the Super Bowl, but then there was too many conflicts. People couldn't make it because they were practicing, getting ready for the Super Bowl. So I think they moved it. But
was it after the Super Bowl when you played?
That's Jerry Quick is who we need to ask about that.
That's true. Yeah, he used to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep, he's retired now. One of our prior sergeants here.
He's out at Goddard PD now.
Goddard School District. Yep.
Correct. Yep, that's right.
I barely made it through the weekend though. Just the gloomy weather, the clouds and cold. I got a little bit of cabin fever just sitting around the house. I don't like sitting around that much.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready for warm.
Yeah. All right. Well, Crimecast, February 2nd. Let's move right into our business. Let me bring up a PowerPoint here. I've got some gun numbers and some catalytic converter updates to show you. And let's see, I want to go here. That coming through all right in there, Charlie?
Yep, looking good.
All right. Larceny from autos year to date, over on the right-hand side of this graph, we're up 14%. 610 larcenied autos compared to 534 last year at this time. Large number of those are our catalytic converters. I do have some numbers for you coming up as well as a hotspot map for those. Over on the left-hand side of this map is our last 7 days compared to the 7 days before that. We're down 16%. Month to month, this is the last 28 days compared to the 28 days prior to that. In the middle here, we're up 5%. That's larceny to autos. That's anytime something is stolen off of a car or from the inside of a car. So it could be when tires, wheels are stolen off of a car, or a catalytic converter, or a battery, or someone breaks into a car and steals a purse. Those are all larceny from autos. A hotspot here from the last 28 days, Broadway and Pawnee looking to the south and the east in that area. I think this is a recurring one, or I remember last week, because here sits your Walmart in this area. We've got a couple of large apartment complexes down in this area, right where our hotspot is at. And 37th Street North and K96 along Rock Road, actually farther south, K96 and Rock Road. To the south and east of there, a little bit of a hot spot. And again, a lot of businesses in this area. There's apartment complexes following along K96 over towards Woodlawn, south and east in this area, hot spot for larceny to autos. Here's our numbers for guns that are stolen from autos. And we'll bring these to you once a month. So at the beginning of each month, we'll go and look at the prior month to see where our numbers are at and where these guns are being stolen. These are just guns stolen from cars. So in January, we had 26 guns that were left in cars. Last year in January, 21. So, and then just show you the map here, Wichita. Looks like there's been a couple on the far west edge side of town, but pretty much west of 235. And then just in the core area of Wichita and northeast Wichita, southeast Wichita. So you can take a screen grab of that and take those places in where those guns have been stolen from cars. Our catalytic converters, This is just in January. If you look at the numbers here on the graph or the chart on the left-hand side, in 2021, January, we've had 102 catalytic converters stolen.
Just in January?
That's January. Yes. Here we go. 102. Last year, we had 27 stolen in January. The year before that, 3. 2018, we had 0, and 2017, 7. So 102 catalytic converters. These there's 3 different precious metals in a catalytic converter that fetch high dollars in the resale market or to scrap metal dealers. So a catalytic converter is part of the exhaust system of a car, tied in usually just before the muffler on a car, and they can be very expensive to replace on a Chevy car or a Honda car. You could be looking at $1,000 plus to replace one. They're probably bringing on average $200 to $300 from the scrap metal dealers. So keep that in mind. We tell people park in well-lit areas. Alarm your cars if you can. If you've got surveillance cameras, make sure they're on your house. Make sure they're pointed, towards your cars. Try to get what evidence you can on these, and only take a matter of seconds. A person can get underneath a car with a cutoff tool, and within a minute, they can have your catalytic converter cut off, and it's gone.
Well, that's a. I mean, looking at that, that's almost as much as we had the November. Look, we almost matched the highest just in January.
Look at November and December. Really, the last 3 to 4 months, there's just been such an uptick in these, and it's affecting surrounding areas as well. I know Derby did a press release, their police department last week, talking about the rise in catalytic converter thefts there. So, and it's a nationwide problem. And even that, I saw an article on yahoo.com a month or 2 ago. I tweeted it out. That wasn't this article. That was a separate one. But in the UK, they're having a catalytic converter theft problem over there because of these precious metals. So it's not even just Wichita based. This is really a worldwide and nationwide occurrence that's happening.
Looks like we got a question from Beverly just in reference to the catalytic converter. Since we're on that, is there a way to track the sellers to the recycle places?
We've got enforcement actions that we began a couple of months ago, working with scrap metal dealers. A lot of this are state-run regulations, and they have a separate enforcement officers that do that. The problem is sourcing out lawful transactions or people that are doing this and have, they're possessing catalytic converters that they have a right to, and sourcing out the ones that have been stolen off of cars. Your automobile repair shops and car dealerships, they lawfully, they have these taken off of cars, scrap yards where cars are totaled out, tow yards where your car's involved in a wreck, it's taken to, it's sold. Maybe they're scrapping some of these parts. So you do have some lawful, there are a lot of lawful business out there for catalytic converters. It's just the unlawful side of it that's picked up, and trying to source those out and separate them and identify those when they occur and when that transaction occurs. So, like I said, we have stepped up our enforcement, education, and enforcement efforts both on that. So,
good. Looks like. Also, our RV dealership in Franklin, Tennessee hit for all their catalytic converters as well. I don't know the name there. Doesn't really come out. I assume you're from Franklin, Tennessee, or have family or friends there. But yeah, I think that's important to note. Even the chief tweeted out a little bit. I think it was at the Derby store, another story about catalytic converters and how this is not just something we're seeing in Wichita, that this is something we're seeing, across the country.
Yeah. And a large part of it is people addicted to methamphetamine, and they're looking for anything to steal. And these catalytic converters, due to the rise in scrap metal prices, they've just become very valuable items, and they're able to steal them. A lot of auto thefts as well, or not a lot. I've seen some auto thefts, a small number that have occurred and the car's recovered and the catalytic converter is cut off of them. So, we do see a small number of that. But, keep in mind, there's people out here looking to steal anything of value that they can find. So we need to do what we can just to make it harder for them to steal stuff. So, and that means, just being vigilant, keeping your eyes open, using surveillance cameras if you can at your house, getting those in place, getting to know your neighborhood, getting to know your neighbors, what is suspicious in your neighborhood and what isn't. So,
right. Yeah. I mean, because, beat officers, I know when I was a beat officer or community policing officer, I spent a lot of my time just driving neighborhoods, driving to see if there was something that looked suspicious to me. But as an officer, I'm not there every day, every single street. So we really rely on the community that lives there, because you're going to know what's out of place. You're going to know if the neighbor's on vacation and there's a car backed into the driveway that you haven't seen before, or perhaps their work schedule and somebody's there during the off work schedule. So, you're going to know those things. And that's why we're always asking for the community to help us on these type of situations, to call us and provide us that. We'd much rather get a call and it be, it'd be the guy to repair the water line to the refrigerator than not get the call. And it's the individual that's burglarized 7-8 houses in that area, or taking, 7-8 catalytic converters off cars in that area.
Yeah. I was going to highlight just the area here. You can see it on the map. Really, if you kind of look at, and this is a big area, but west of 235 all the way to 135 over here, north of Kellogg, this is probably, the largest concentration of them where they're being stolen from, and just moving south a ways even. So keep that in mind if you're in those areas. Now, I'll tell you too, it seems like bigger trucks are more of a target, or trucks. They're easier to get underneath. Ford F-150s, Chevy Silverados, and then the bigger ones are diesels even. If you get up into the F-250s, the 2500s, or the 350s, 3500s, they come with even heavier duty catalytic converters, and those fetch even more money on the scrap metal market. Let's see, auto thefts next. If I can get my laser pointer turned off here. There we go. Auto thefts. Year to date, over here on the far right-hand side, we're up 63%. This number is slowly coming down. We started off the year up 83 or 84%, I want to say. And this is still a large number, though. 271 cars stolen, reported stolen in Wichita year to date, compared to 166 last year. And then the last 7 days over here on the far left-hand side of the screen, we're up 4%. We've had 59 auto thefts reported compared to 57 the week prior to that. And in the middle of the screen is the last 28 days compared to the 28 days prior to that. We're up 6%. A hot spot in the area of Washington and Pawnee, south and west. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars really just in this area. And this is going to be, should be Lincoln right in here, running across. So Lincoln and Washington, north and west.
No, that'll be Mount Vernon. No.
Yeah.
Lincoln will be north of Pawnee. That's probably, what is that?
No, I think that's Lincoln. Oh, no, sorry. I was thinking that was Kellogg up here. Yeah, here's Pawnee, Washington. Right. Sorry about that. McCormick.
MacArthur?
MacArthur.
Oh, okay.
31st Street and MacArthur coming up down there. So let's see, though. Washington, here's Broadway. Again, here's your Walmart up here, the same area. You've got large apartment complexes in this area. And so keep that in mind.
Oh, Beverly's saying it's 31st.
Yeah.
I bet it is, because that's MacArthur's going to be farther south.
Thanks,
Beverly.
I was drawing a blank there.
That's all right.
Another auto theft hotspot last 28 days. We're looking at now here we are along Kellogg and Meridian. This is kind of a recurring area. We see quite a few in this area, just north and west of Kellogg and Meridian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here in this hotspot, and numerous ones branching out into the neighborhoods from that area. So keep that in mind if you're in that area. Do what you can to prevent auto thefts. Don't leave your keys in your cars. Don't leave your cars running. Keep the windows rolled up and have them locked. Make it harder for thieves to be able to steal it.
How many of those? Because how much were we up again? You said 67%,
64% year to date, 62%.
Oh, okay, so it's down from last week, because last week I think we were at 75.
Yeah.
How many left running unattended? Keys in there? Do you know?
I don't have those numbers this time. So I've seen a few. I know last week or this. Yeah, no. Last week, I think it was Wednesday and Thursday. There was 5 because in 2 days I was counting them there, and there was 5 cars that were left running, stolen. Yeah.
I pulled up the forecast. LT looks like Saturday 29 is the high, Sunday 34 is the high, Monday 38 is the high. All coming up over Super Bowl weekend. We tend to see these running unattended increase on those cold days. So just a reminder.
Yeah, never a good idea.
Yeah,
there are literally thieves driving around looking for cars that are running. And sometimes it is foot traffic though too. Someone's walking from point A to point B. It's cold. They see a car running and they steal it. I think the majority of them, though, are thieves that are actually out driving around looking. And we had a video last year. There was a Tahoe running in a driveway, and it was surveillance video from one of the neighbors. Tahoe was running in a driveway. We see a car pull up out in the street. Someone jumps out of the car, runs up, gets into the Tahoe, and within a matter of seconds, it's stolen. It's off driving down the street. So It doesn't take long. And like I say, there's actually people driving around all over Wichita, and it doesn't just happen, in a certain small area. It really affects all of Wichita. So don't think your vehicle is safe if you live, anywhere in Wichita. Just think that your car could get stolen. And please don't leave it running in a convenience store parking lot while you run inside to grab something to drink. It amazes me how many of these I see. Quite a few. Auto theft recoveries over the last 28 days. Here's Seneca and McCormick. Right along Seneca here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars recovered right in this area along Harry and Seneca, and expanding north even over in this area. We've had several recoveries. Our residential burglaries over here on the right-hand side, year to date, we're down 10%. 113 residential burglaries have occurred compared to 125 last year. On the left-hand side of the screen is our last week compared to the week before that. We're down 15%. We had 23 burglaries compared to 27 the week before that. And in the middle is the last 28 days compared to the 28 days prior to that. A residential burglary hotspot along Harry and Broadway here, just north of Harry and west of Broadway, coming down. Here's Main Street. But 1, 2, 3 burglaries right here caused that hotspot to pick up, and just a couple of others that have occurred, in that immediate area. And that's it for the PowerPoint this week.
All right. Officer Wheeler, Kevin, congrats to him. Got promoted. He's going to be a detective. Be upstairs next week in our investigation section. Just let me know about a case that we talked about at our media briefing at 10 this morning, where 2 officers' patrol cars were intentionally rammed. The officer received some minor injuries. We did take a 16-year-old into custody. I believe a 16-year-old into custody for 2 counts of aggravated battery of a law enforcement officer, as officers were trying to stop another vehicle involved in possibly breaking into cars in an area. And he intentionally rammed them, and that car actually that he was driving was stolen, left running unattended. Again, so a prime example. Again, please don't leave your vehicles running unattended. Not only could be stolen, but if you do recover it, it may be damaged. Items may be missing. Again, that few minutes can save you hours, months, even a long time of a headache. So that's a good example right there that we had. Looks like we had some. Or did you have something to add on that?
I hadn't seen that was a stolen vehicle that they were in that had been left running. But yeah, we see quite a few vehicles that are stolen and then used in other criminal acts. So keep that in mind, even when your car is stolen and you're inconvenienced. But there's a high probability probability that your car is going to be used in other criminal acts. So, and here's our suspects again. They're out breaking into cars. So a lot of this stuff is tied in together. Our our larcenies to autos, our auto thefts, and even our burglaries. These are people just out looking to steal things. So keep that in mind. Everything. And I tell people, even if you nail it down, someone's still going to try to steal it. So,
yeah. Looks like we got some questions on catalytic converters. Back on that. I don't know the name here again, but do they happen day, night? Do we know? Both?
Both. I don't have the numbers, but it may be swayed a little bit towards the nighttime. But both daytime and nighttime. I would hazard a guess maybe 40 to 50% are in the daytime, and then the remaining at night.
Okay. And then
really, it's about the same with cars. I did just pull, have them look at our numbers on auto thefts and when they've been occurring. And there's probably a slight uptick in the after 7 p.m., but really throughout the day in broad daylight, almost just as many are occurring.
All right. Looks like Joe is doing something about the scrap dealers buying stolen property. I think you talked a little bit about that just a minute ago. I mean, we are working in that angle. You want to address that further?
Let me see what all is he asking here. Joe Rongish is asking, do something about the scrap dealers buying stolen property. They advertise in low income areas, which saw that they pay cash for these. That's your problem. If someone doesn't own a muffler shop, they likely have no legitimate business selling catalytic converters. Well, we do see. So we went out probably mid last year when we were starting to see the uptick. Detectives and a sergeant went out. We contacted a few places, and one guy popped up, and we thought, oh, here's a good one. Here's a good suspect for sure. And we made contact with him, and he was legitimate. He would go around to different shops or different businesses. He had contracts with scrap yards, with auto repair shops, and they would sell him, the catalytic converters. So he's legitimately going around buying the catalytic converters, and then he's legitimately taken to a bigger dealer. And I think there's Oklahoma or Texas is like one of the main catalytic converter, recyclers or scrap metal places. So, I mean, he's buying 100, 200 of them and making a trip, to Oklahoma or Texas once a month, every other month to recycle them. So, like I say, it's sussing out the legitimate ones to the illegal ones.
Yeah. Looks like Wilma, they're seeing catalytic converters up in Minneapolis. Oh, even across the country, like we said, we're seeing Tennessee, Minneapolis. Looks like that's all the questions we really got today. LT, I did want to bring something up. We talked about our media briefing today. We're working a criminal homicide in the 1000 block of North Ash. We're asking community's assistance to try to locate Kayla Blackman. As part of this investigation, we believe she might be in danger, and or her, I'm going to put this on our social media here in a minute, and or her 2005 Ford Escape. The tag there you can see is 566, N as in Nancy, P as in Paul, K as in King. So if you have any information about the whereabouts of Kayla or the Ford Escape, or you see them, please call 911 immediately as we continue to investigate this incident. Talked a little bit about our media briefing this morning. I'm going to be putting it on our social media, but I know we utilize this for a lot of property crimes, but other important information we want to get out to the community as well. So I wanted to share that. Thank you.
Yeah, I shouldn't do this, but Danny made me laugh because he wants you to resign. Danny must have warrants or something. He's kind of upset this morning. He says we got a $7 million budget boost, and the only thing we've seen significant drop in is chalk vandalism. I think those are up too. That made me laugh. I just had to point that one out. Danny, if you got warrants, you can call that number down there at the bottom and take care of those.
Looks like Dan Rouser's saying something about wholesale end. Why advertise to the public? I assume he's talking about catalytic converters.
Yeah. I suppose, yeah. I mean, I suppose that's an argument, but again, you've got. So I know we get continued calls. There's the 13th and Hillside. There's a pawn shop and a place advertising up there. We've been in and checked them. I mean, they've got their state. They're registered with the state, and they do the. There's a state, not a form, but I'm trying to think of here. It's a database that they've got to make their entries in, and they've been compliant so far. So, then the thing is, though, too, people do home repairs. You could have, Joe, maybe he repairs his catalytic converter, orders a new one online, replaces it, and has to take it to get it, resell it, takes it somewhere and sells it. So that could happen as well. But like I said, we're stepping up enforcement and education on it, and hopefully that drives our numbers down. What always helps when this occurs is scrap metal prices go down. Years ago, we used to see, remember copper thefts, Charlie?
Yeah. Yep.
We used to see abandoned houses would get broken into and abandoned businesses, and all the copper plumbing would get stripped out, causing tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage because copper prices were high. So really, whatever the trend is in scrap metal, prices being high, that's where we'll see our uptick in our thefts. They're just going to follow whatever's bringing the most money.
Yeah, we've seen in reference to copper as well, Lieutenant, in the past, not currently, but entire air conditioning systems that will be cut and removed from a home and put in the back of a van, and they'll take it to a location and scrap it. Now, we're not seeing that currently, but the point is, as the lieutenant was saying, we tend to see these ebbs, and they ebb and flow depending on the price of these metals. And right now we're seeing a spike in catalytic converters, and that's why we're asking the community, if you see something suspicious, call us.
Yeah, and when the scrap metal prices on those three precious metals, I can't remember what three they are, but when those prices drop and they go down, we'll see the people will quit stealing the catalytic converters, and they'll move on to stainless steel or copper or something along those lines. So
yeah.
Let's see what Howard is asking here.
He's been talking about leaving your gun in a car, not doing that. Unfortunately, we do have individuals that from time to time have left their gun in a car, and that's why we're constantly reminding the community not to do that. Or if you have to, if you go to a location and you have a firearm with you, but you're not able to take it into that location, whatever the case may be, I don't know if you're going shopping or you go to a restaurant and you're not allowed to take a firearm into that location, have that lockbox, have that lock system to help lock it up in your vehicle to keep it safe.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks to everybody that tuned in. Appreciate it. It's 11:30 Tuesday morning.
Yes, still Tuesday. You check your watch again?
Tuesday, February 9th.
You check your watch to make sure it was still Tuesday?
11. I was looking at the time and I was like, I don't know why they really need to know it's 11:30. People probably have their own time.
Lunchtime.
Tell-in device. It is almost lunchtime.
Yeah.
So until next week, stay safe, everybody. Watch yourself, watch your neighbors, and we'll see you then.